Ah, es Hago. Oh, envíes, muchas gracias. Vale, esto empieza ya. Muchas gracias, envíes, guapo.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Rogers, Game Director on Path of Exile 2, and welcome to GGG Live. Today we're going to show you an exclusive reveal for what's coming next for Path of Exile 2. Twitch drops are enabled on today's live stream,
Hay drops.
so you'll be able to
Empiezan
claim
ya.
your Verdant Wilds dodge roll effect by following the instructions below. Now today,
Vale,
it's
se escucha
finally
bien,
time to
gracias.
show off a new class that we know everyone in the community's been waiting for.
Vamos a presentar una
So
nueva
let's
clase
roll the
que
trailer
toda
for
la
Path of
comunidad
Exile
espera.
2, The Last of the Druids.
Es imposible que haya anuncio. ¡Ojo! ¡Wake up! ¡Están pelotas! ¡Un culo!
Well, well. What have we got here then?
You lost, fella?
Hey, we're talking to you.
I asked you a question.
¡Hostia, el oso! ¡Qué guapo!
What's wrong with him?
Ah, he's lost his bloody mind.
Hostia, primera hostia, qué guapo. ¡Ey, la tormenta! ¡Eh, lobo! ¡Lobo! Que no me ha dado tiempo a ponerlo. Hace la U. ¡Hala, qué guapo! Vale, entonces va a ser elementos y transformaciones, no solo transformaciones. ¿Qué cojones? ¿Qué cojones es eso? ¿Qué cojones es eso? ¿Perdón? ¿Perdón? ¿Cómo que un wyvern? ¿Cómo que un puto dragón?
I will find you, Eve.
Un puto te puede... O sea, un oso,
Now,
un
as you
lobo
can see,
y un
the
puto
druid is a
dragón.
shape-shifting elemental spellcaster. After his fellow druids were destroyed by the King in the Mists, the druid lost his humanity in the forests of Ogham, where he wandered for years as a beast. Now, finally reawakened, he's determined to find his lost wife and regain his humanity. The druid has been one of the hardest classes for us to design. As well
Una
as
de las
having human
clases más
spells,
difíciles
he
de
has 3
diseñar.
animal forms, and we wanted to make
Ah,
sure
solo
that there were
tres formas
interesting
animales.
combos between all of them.
Vale.
The druid is our first hybrid strength and intelligence class. That means he needs to have the ability to use spells and attacks.
Vale,
As
usa
a human,
hechizos
the
y
druid
ataques.
typically uses
Se
magical
escala con
staves to
fuerza e
harness the powers
inteligencia.
of the earth and the natural world.
Keep and build.
One of the first skills you will learn is the ability to create small volcanoes from the earth.
Esta es
This
cremación,
skill
¿no?
spits out balls of magma at your enemies, and will continue to do so for some time. While the volcano is active, turn into an animal and wade into melee range. Many of the skills you use as a human last for a significant period of time, giving you a good
Dude,
chance
la
to turn into an animal
transformación se
and
ve
rage
súper
out.
limpia, ¿no? Se ve muy,
But how do you turn into an
muy
animal,
limpia.
you may ask?
Ahí está el
Well, the
arma,
answer
¿no?
is a new weapon type that druids use, animal talismans.
Ah, se llama talismán
When you equip an
animal.
animal talisman, you can choose which animal form you would like the talisman to represent. Depending on what you choose, you'll be given that animal's basic attack as a new skill to equip. For a bear, that's maul.
Vale, entonces la
To
gema va
turn into a
ligada al
bear,
arma.
simply use
No va
the skill.
ligada a una gema.
Your character will instantly transform into a bear and attack. If you want to change back to a human, just cast a spell. You will instantly swap back and cast it. We wanted to make sure that swapping between forms was seamless and immediate. Changing forms should be something that you do without even thinking about it all the time in battle.
Vale, me
In
gusta
order
que
to
no tenga
allow for
cooldown.
hybrid melee and caster gameplay, most of the skills you use in your human form last for some time and aid your animal skills in some way. The volcano we used earlier will emit more molten balls whenever you hit it with a slam, making it perfect for use with your bear form's furious slam. While in bear form,
¿Os habéis dado
many
cuenta
of
que
your
cuando
abilities use
slameas
rage.
salen como más bolas?
There are a lot of ways to generate rage,
Mira,
but
mira,
the
mira.
easiest one is simply smash your enemies with maul. Once you see the runes on your back glowing, it means you have enough rage to do a much more devastating version of your furious slam.
las cosas rojas esos simulan la cantidad de rage
Your
que
bear form
tienes.
can also go on a rampage, stomping the ground as you demolish your foes.
Pues si esto puedes hacer que sea permanente como el Baal
The more
Earthquake.
rage you have, the longer the rampage lasts, and doing it over a volcano makes it even better. As you consume
Hostia,
rage, your
esta
bear
empieza
form will
perma.
generate endurance charges, and these can be used with skills like Ferocious Roar.
Ya empezamos.
Ferocious
no las
Roar is a
gasta.
war cry that empowers your subsequent attacks to break your opponent's armor. The more endurance charges you have when you use it, the more empowered attacks you will gain. But Ferocious Roar has another special feature too. It's a meta gem that allows you to socket any Warcry gem from another class into it, giving you the ability to use these skills as
Ya
a
está
bear.
guapo esto. Todo lo que sea automatizar
Use the
mierdas,
Warrior's
tío,
Infernal
compro,
Cry skill to make your
Pegas
enemies
un grito
explode.
y activas los... Hostia, esto está guapo. Que los cries en el PoE 2 son la
Or use
hostia.
Seismic Cry to stun your enemies and double up the number of slams you do. You can even use it with Ancestral Call,
está
a skill
guapo.
that turns you into
Eso
the
está muy
fire
guapo.
god Cow.
Mira esto,
Ever
mira
wondered
esto,
what the
mira
Karui
esto,
god of
mira
war
esto.
would look like if he was a bear? Well, wait no longer. Finally, build up enough rage and you can use one of the bear's ultimate abilities, Walking Calamity. This skill summons a storm of fire around you for some time, while generating even more rage to power your other abilities. A true bear apocalypse.
Hostia, si alguna
Now
de
the
estas
bear is known for
mierdas
being a
se
slower
puedan
and more lumbering
automatizar,
animal, with slower attacks and heavy slams. But what if you want to turn into something a little more nimble? Well, let's check out the second animal form for the druid, wolf form. For the wolf form, we wanted to go fast and furious.
Vale, este es
Even
el
just the
rápido.
wolf's basic attack will leap forward and rake his foes.
Hostia, pega
After
muy
attacking, the
rápido.
wolf stands up on two legs, but after running for a short time, he goes back on all fours, allowing to move
guapo.
more quickly between
Se ve
packs of
muy
enemies.
bien,
The wolf has a lot of cold attacks based on his association with the moon, and the first of these is Lunar Assault. It's great for freezing your enemies in place. After they're frozen, use your basic rake attack to knock shards of ice off your enemies, which land on the ground nearby and explode.
Vale, ese es el que,
If you want to
ese es
get
el
into
que
battle
combina
quickly,
elementos.
you can
Hola.
use your pounce attack. This skill leaps at a target and applies a mark to them.
Les aplica
Killing
una
the
marca.
marked enemy will summon a wolfman into your side, allowing them
No,
to
pero
fight
esto
with
te lo
you.
hacen para mostrarte las habilidades.
Mark and kill as many enemies as you can to build up a sizable pack. While an enemy is marked, your wolves will prioritize that target and do more damage
Los
the more
mini
wolves you
lobos.
have. So make sure you keep your pack strong. Now, one problem you might run into is your wolf pack dying in boss fights. You often don't have any enemies that you can mark and kill in order to regenerate your pack. To deal with this problem, you can use Cross Slash. Cross Slash
esto es
jumps backwards
básicamente-
and does a vicious double slash. Any marks on your target explode and triggers
Vale,
their abilities.
como la-
This allows
la
you to
marca
pounce
te
to
da
mark an
lobitos
enemy and then summon a wolf
cuando-
even without killing it. Cross Slash also has another
O
feature.
sea, la
though.
marca te da lobitos
Remember
cuando
those
matas,
ice fragments from
pues
before?
eso es una manera para
Cross
generar
Slash will
lobos sin
propel
gastar
any
mucho.
ice shards on the ground towards its central target. First, freeze your enemies with Lunar Assault. Then rake them to create
Se
as
ve
many ice fragments
espectacular,
as you can.
Se ve espectacular.
Then follow up with Cross Slash to generate a field of icy explosions to obliterate your enemies. If they're still alive after that, your pack of wolves can finish them off.
Vale, lo bajo un
Just like
pelín y
with
me
the
acerco
bear's
al
raw
micro.
skill earlier that allows you to use skills from other classes, Pounce is also a meta gem that you can socket mark skills from other
¿Perdón?
classes into.
Hostia, tiene
So,
mucho...
for example,
a ver, tiene
you might
sentido,
want to
¿no?
try adding freezing
Para que
mark
no
from the
tengas que
monk to pounce.
cancelar...
After pouncing at an enemy, cross slash to explode the mark and gain extra cold damage for a time.
Vale, que metan automatizaciones es la
The
hostia.
wolf has many other ways
Hostia.
to go all in on cold though. Using the Arctic Howl Warcry will allow you to add cold damage and chilled ground to any slam, while buffing your pack of wolves as well. You can also use it to freeze enemies that are close to being frozen, making it much faster to use your other combos. Finally, the wolf also has the ability to call down the power of the moon to transform into an Arctic werewolf with Lunar Blessing. In this form, you move and attack more quickly and deal extra cold damage. Consuming rage will extend the
Que
duration
tú
of your
puedas
Arctic
combinar
wolf form. So you could
automatizaciones
try a
con dos
hybrid bear and
personajes.
wolf build if you want to utilize the skill to its full effect. All right.
Que no, en todos
Let's
los,
talk about the
que en
third form
todos,
available to
en
the
todos los
druid,
trailers
and I
se ven
think it's a
así.
cool one. The wyvern.
El
The
Wyvern.
Wyvern has a number of
Qué barbaridad.
long-range breath abilities.
Qué
But that doesn't mean
barbaridad.
you can't get into melee range when you want to. The basic attack of the Wyvern is Rend. Jump forward into combat and slash your enemies with your lethal talons. If they're close to being stunned, you can
¿Qué
blow them
cojones
off
es un
balance with a
puto
blast
Wyvern?
from your wings, causing an explosion of damage. After the battle, though, it's time to feed.
Sí, van a-
Devour the corpses of monsters to create power charges. And this is when the Wyvern's abilities really come online.
Vale, este está orientado como el crítico,
When
¿no?
using Rend, you can consume a power charge to charge up your wings with lightning. Not only does this do a bunch of damage, but it allows you to turn this melee skill into a much larger AoE attack.
Tía, sí que se nota el área,
Once your
Yo
wings
esto
are
no- yo
charged,
esto no me lo
your
esperaba,
wing blast will
Yo me
also
esperaba
do
un
lightning
jaguar o algo
explosions
así.
for even more damage. If your enemies are close to death, no need to wait for them to actually die. When you see this blue marker, just devour them alive. Fresh meat is much
O
tastier
sea,
after all.
sí, tiene cooling
Alright,
strike.
so those are some melee options.
Vale.
But how about range? Well, you wouldn't be much of a dragon if you couldn't breathe fire after all. Rolling magma is the first of the Wyvern's breath attacks.
Hostia.
Spit balls of fire that
Hostia.
bounce along the ground. These balls will trigger volcanoes as well, so it's a good idea to cast one as a human right before you start spitting.
Me encanta. Me
But that's
vomito
not all you
por
can
el
spit.
juego.
You have something a little nastier in that gullet of yours. Spitting a barrage of oil at your enemies will cover them in a viscous sludge that makes them easier to ignite. If you have power charges, though,
hostia, les metes
plant your wings in the
alquitrán para
ground
que
and
se
vomit a
quemen más
barrage of
rápido. Qué
lightning-infused
guapo.
projectiles. The more power charges you have, the longer you can do this for. But make sure you keep your foes at range. You're vulnerable to melee attacks while channeling this skill. In order to help with that, let's take a quick
Que le
diversion
puedes
back to
pegar
some of your
una
human
mordida a los
abilities.
cadáveres.
As a druid of Scoth, you have the ability to harness the power of nature to create entangling vines to slow down your enemies. Another
Se
of
ve
nature's
guapo,
punishments is the
Se ve
thunderstorm.
guapo.
Creating one of these will create periodic strikes of lightning from the sky, and will also make your enemies wet. Why is that useful? Well, of course, things that are wet are easier to shock. Use it with lightning damage
Claro,
from your
tiene
wyvern
sentido.
form to
Si le
enhance your
metes la
damage.
lluvia, es más
Making things wet
fácil
also makes them
meterles
easier to freeze, so it works nicely
Por
with your
eso
wolf form as
tacos.
well. And you know what else likes water? Plants. Water your plants to give them various extra abilities. Use Lightning Storm with Entangle to make them last longer, and attach more vines to each
Casi,
enemy,
si le
slowing
llueve a
them
las...
further.
¡Hala, qué guapo!
Summon thrashing vines to slam at your enemies for a time. Any that are created in water will be larger. and
No, a
deal
mí
more damage.
tampoco es que me flipe el druida, pero joder, todo esto está muy
Now
guapo.
then, with our
Y
enemies
son
sufficiently
habilidades que
subdued
puedes
with our
aprovechar
plants,
con otras
time to
clases.
really lay into them with our lightning-infused barrage. Now, this last wyvern ability is just ridiculous, but we felt like we had to do it. Use Flame Breath to take to the skies and rain down a stream of fire on your enemies. You have wings, so we have to take full advantage of them after all. So fly around and burn in it.
¿Estáis viendo cómo quema el entorno? ¿Estáis viendo cómo ha quemado el área ese?
Now, there are a few other skills we didn't cover, but there's one in particular that I think will open up a lot of builds. Spell Totems.
¡Totems!
Spell Totems are
¡Totems!
metagems that let you create a totem that will automatically cast any spell in the game for a time. In order to create one, you will need to spend 3
Esto no
endurance
lo he
or
visto
3
venir.
power charges. You could use them to throw fireballs, summon comets, or shower the area in lightning. Really, the options are kind of endless. Your bear form
Ahora.
can easily generate endurance charges by consuming rage, and your wyvern form can easily create power charges by eating corpses. So it's pretty easy for the druid to get the charges needed, but they're also available from quite a few other places as well. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of different spellcaster classes thinking about how best to take advantage of these. Now, of course, along with a new class comes a bunch of new support gems. We've added over 30 new supports throughout the game, but I'll show you a few of the cooler ones here.
Vale,
Fan
gemas
the
de
Flames
support.
can be added to any wind skill to spread fire from one ignited
Fan de
enemy to
Flames.
other enemies
Esto es para
behind.
extender el ignite.
It's great for the Wyvern's Wing Blast. You can
Hostia,
also use it on many
esto
other
lo puede
classes
usar
with
todo el
wind
mundo,
skills, like the Twisters on the Huntress, or the Monk's Staggering Palm Projectiles. Accelerated growth causes extra explosive plants to erupt from the ground whenever you grow plants with rain.
Una especie de Toxic Rain, pero al revés.
And Advancing Storm changes storm skills like your Thunderstorm or Tornado to move across the battlefield. It's great for watering plants en masse,
Ah, hace que
or
los
to turn
elementos se
tornadoes
muevan
into a real
contigo.
disaster by sucking up multiple ground effects as they travel along. And the
Qué
Sorceress
guapo.
might like to use it with Firestorm as well.
Esta me
Echoing
encanta.
cry causes
Quiero hacer
your
algo
warcry
con eso.
skills to echo. They will repeat a couple more times with a delay after you use them, giving you more empowered attacks. Use it for the druid's animal form war cries, or on the warrior for a nice power boost.
¿Ves? Estas gemas support sirven para todo el mundo, entonces está guay. Esto me gusta.
Grounding shocks causes monsters you shock to turn into living Tesla coils,
Esto está
arcing
roto.
lightning to nearby enemies.
No sé, o
You
sea,
could use it with your empowered
deja
wings for an
suelo
extra
de
damage
eléctrico.
boost, but it's also great with any
Esto
other
para la
shocking
arquera,
skill.
ojito,
Try it out with lightning spear. It obviously needed more AoE clear. There's a
Hijo
whole
de
pile
puta.
more, but we'll leave those for you to discover.
Dice, la
Now, the
lanza
new
de rayos
class comes
necesita
to
más clear.
ascendancy classes. The
Las
druid will have two
ascendencias.
options for now, with a third
Dos.
being released later.
Verás.
The first class is the Shaman. The
Dos.
Shaman channels nature's
Shaman.
elemental fury and can harness rage as a spellcaster, unifying his
Usa
animalistic and
rage
magical
como
tendencies.
spellcaster y está hecho
By
de
allocating
hechizos.
Druidic Champion, you gain spell damage the angrier you are. And with Furious
Vale.
Wellspring, you generate rage continuously and can spend it to empower your spells.
Hostia, tiene
With
lo
the
de que el
knowledge of the
incremento de
Asmerian
maná aumenta el
Magi,
incremento
the
de
Shaman
rage.
can harness untapped power from runes and idols.
Hostia, gana más
After
bonus de
allocating
las
Wisdom of the
runas.
Magi, you will notice that all runes and
Y de
idols
los
have extra
ídolos.
mods only available to the Shaman. These new mods unlock countless new possibilities for enhancing your build.
What the fuck?
You can also allocate Bringer of the Apocalypse, allowing you to become a walking natural disaster. After dealing enough
Te da la
elemental
habilidad de
damage,
convertirte en el
storms of all
apocalipsis.
elements rain around you, destroying all who would face nature's fury.
Mira, hola.
There are other abilities for the Shaman, but I'll just show a few from each class. For
Dura muchísimo.
the other Druid ascendancy is the Oracle.
Hostia,
The
qué
Oracle
guapo este.
perfected the power of foresight
El
and
oráculo.
utilizes this in combat to gain massive advantage. When taking Fateful Vision, you will see visions of your future self using specific skills. If you decide to follow this path by using the skill yourself, it will do significantly more damage.
Pero, tío. Pero, ¿qué cojones?
And with converging paths, at a critical moment in battle
Este
when a
boss es-
monster is vulnerable to freeze,
O sea,
stun,
te
or
dice lo que
electrocution,
tienes que hacer y si lo
Oracle
haces,
can use
haces más
Moment of
daño.
Vulnerability to see a vision of the enemy's future, and then merge it with the
Hostia,
current
puedes
time,
ver lo que va a hacer el
allowing them to
enemigo.
deal damage to both.
Y
And one of my
hostia.
favorites, when you
Y
first
ya
become
hoy-
an Oracle, you'll notice over 130 new extra passives appear in the Druid section of the tree. By allocating the Unseen Path, you use your power of foresight to learn from alternate futures
Te da
and
más
gain
nodos en
skills
el
that would
árbol.
otherwise be unavailable to you. For example, self-sacrificing allows you to be able to summon more minions by reducing the spirit costs, with the trade-off of making your reservation skills cost more spirit. Or Corruption Endures, which allows oracles to have a small chance to avoid death.
What the fuck?
Both the Druid Ascendancies offer interesting and unique ways to gain modifiers that no other classes can get, so we're expecting a huge variety of build possibilities from these. Now, there
Buah,
are unique talismans for the
el
Druids
magma
as well.
orb se ve.
We won't spoil all of them, but this one was
Quiero
particularly
hacerme
cool.
el wiper que vomita.
Fury of the King turns your
Vale,
bear
los
form into a
únicos.
fire demon, converting most of your
¿Qué?
damage to fire.
Convierte
As
al,
a demon, you can also use Molten Crash, a jumping
convierte
slam
al,
attack
al
that
oso en
leaves
un
fishes around
demonio.
you. This
¡Hala,
unique
qué
also continuously
guapo!
grants glory, allowing you to use your ultimate abilities more easily. Now, of course, the Druid isn't the only thing we're adding to 040. We still have a bunch more to show. With every new release, we create a new league with new mechanics, new pinnacle bosses, and with a new story to tell. And this time is no exception. So let's roll the trailer for the fate of the Vaal.
Vale, vamos ahora. Esto es el acto.
Palace
Esto es
of
el acto.
Queen Atziri.
A ver,
It is a ruin, but in the dark, machines still churn.
vamos a ir a revivir nosotros a Ciri. Esto es acto nuevo.
The temple has many functions,
100%.
and with it, a chance to save the Vaal. A gateway through
Que
time.
no. Y es Alba. Y es Alba. Es incursión.
Travel into the past, again and again.
Hostias, el templo se ve guapísimo.
Alter the temple, uncover its secrets. You will be rewarded for your sacrifice. And somewhere in the deepest chamber, my queen awaits. I beg of you, hear me. The beast cannot give you what you desire.
You may have studied it, Doriani, but you do not know it like I do.
Hostia.
It adores me. Come now, give unto me your desire. At last, fulfill my soul.
De gratis.
Hi, I'm Mark Roberts, game director on Path of Exile.
Hola, Mark.
In the Fate of the Vaal League, you will find remnants of the ancient Vaal civilization scattered throughout Recordad. They seem to attract nearby creatures and affect them strangely.
Vale, afecta a los bichos que hay cerca. Vale.
After killing them, the remnant appears to gain some amount of power, but not enough to fully activate it. It seems you will need to find 5 more of these arcane devices, and sacrifice the monsters you find there to fully activate one. But things don't always go to plan. These devices are old, and sometimes infected by corruption. Twisted versions of ancient Vaal may emerge, and sometimes even stronger foes. On fully activating one of the devices, you finally discover its true purpose. A portal
A veces
opens
tienen
and
corrupción
takes you deep
y te
underground to a
peleas.
lost temple.
Y a veces te abre
Once the
una
home of
entrada
Atziri, Queen of the
a las
Vaal.
ruinas
What
de Vaal.
treasures could still be inside? I think you're gonna want to find out. In front of the entrance is a console of some kind, and on activating it, you can see a map of the temple. Atziri's personal chambers are on the far side, but how could anyone get there? There are disconnected rooms, and the layout doesn't seem to make sense. And that's when
Es
you
como-
realize the purpose of
Como
the
lo que
ancient
hicieron con
devices
Abyss.
scattered
Es
through
como una
Recordad.
actualización de Alba.
The temple is powered by sacrifice, and this energy can be used to modify the very structure of the temple itself. Each time you run the temple, you will be given 6 rooms that you can place, allowing you to craft your own dungeon to explore. Place paths to link up the
Hacer
dungeon,
líneas rectas,
and place
¿eh?
rooms beside
Hacer
them full of
líneas
precious loot.
rectas.
After you are happy with your choices, open the temple and discover the results of your efforts. Each room contains different challenges along with its rewards. On entering a room, the doors will slam
sé-
shut behind
no tiene
you,
subtítulos.
and you will need to face the encounter within. But choose
No
wisely.
tiene.
It's important where you place the rooms to get maximum returns. For example, when
A ver.
placing a commander, you could just place it anywhere along an existing path, but a much better strategy is to place it next to a garrison of troops for him to command.
Vale, o sea, las estas se...
With better
vale.
leadership, the garrison will level up, making the monsters harder, but also more rewarding.
Sí que hay habitaciones que
Different
afectan a
rooms have
otras.
different requirements for leveling up. For example, if you want to fully level up a smithy, you will need to supply it with golems from an adjacent golem works, and hook
como
up
que-
a generator to the power network to supply it with power.
Hostia.
After doing so, the golems will be powered up,
Vale, o sea, la idea es
making
tener
them much
habitaciones
more
a nivel
dangerous.
3, como en Alba.
You don't need to memorize what interacts with what. When selecting a room, you will be shown the
Vale,
locations
no
that will make
necesitas,
other rooms
no
level up,
necesitas
and
acordarte
exactly
porque
what
te lo
effect it will
marca.
have on the temple.
Vale, se nota, es muy evidente. Se ve en verde clarito y tal.
After running the temple, a few of the rooms will destabilize and be removed. It will be up to you to rebuild the temple, adding 6 more rooms each time you come back, making the temple larger and larger and
Sí, sí.
larger.
Sí, sí.
So
Sí, sí.
that's the basic functionality of the temple.
Línea recta.
But there is a lot more. Once Doriani finds out about your travels to Liraval, he will attempt to persuade you to take on a new mission.
A ver, depende de lo
The
rentable
temple
que sea.
entrance contains
Abyss
a
era muy
prototype of the
rentable
time portal
y te la
device.
pelaba hacerte
It will
Abyss
be
porque
able to take you back
rentaba.
in time, but only to one specific point. Right before Atziri triggered the cataclysm that destroyed the Vaal. He requests that you go back and attempt to stop Atziri to prevent the Vaal from ever being destroyed.
Ah, te pide que vayas atrás a por lo de... Hostia, qué guapo.
Atziri
Esto
is on the
se
far
ve
side of the temple,
espectacular.
so you will need to expand the temple significantly to get to her. And even worse, her chambers can only be unlocked by a room that isn't currently accessible to you. In order to deal with that, you are going to need to visit the architect of the temple.
Hostia,
To
tienes
get
que ir
to
a por
him,
la
you will
llave y
need to
luego a por
place path
Achiri.
rooms.
Más
But
le vale
while
que
doing
sea el
so,
boss más
you will
rentable de
probably
la
want to
historia,
exploit some of the Val technology only available in the past. Once you can travel into the past, a whole new set of rooms are available to you, and they have some pretty insane rewards. At level 1, the corruption chamber can be used to corrupt a single item. But placing it next to a thaumaturge to run the place, and a sacrificial chamber to provide soul energy, you'll be able to level it up. And it's worth it. Because
It's
once you
worth
get
it.
the room to level 3, there are some very nice rewards to be had.
¿Cómo qué?
In a level 3 corruption chamber, you will find
ver.
this mysterious device.
Vale, vas a encontrarte
It
eso
has a
en
slot
nivel
to place
3.
an item, and it only accepts items that are already corrupted.
Solo acepta
What will happen
corruptos.
to them? Well, normally once an item is corrupted, you can't modify it any further. But this device allows you to corrupt your item a second time, adding another enchantment.
Ah, te lo corrompes de
This
manera
has the
asegurada
capability
para
to
tener
craft
otro
some very
encantamiento.
powerful items indeed. But be warned, the Val are all about taking risks in the pursuit of power. There is a 50% chance that the item will be destroyed.
Vale, hay 50% de que el objeto haga puff.
Each room has its own interesting mechanics and rewards when it levels up. Many of them contain bosses to fight, special drops, and in many cases, new crafting opportunities.
Ah, corromper una
For
gema
example,
corrupta.
A level 3 alchemy lab has a nasty Val construct to fight, but if you can defeat it, you can find new corrupted soul cores. Like Guatalizzi's thesis, which on boots allows you to sacrifice your life to run faster. Or
Pero-
Sita Qualotto's
Hostia, está
thesis,
guapo.
which
Sí,
on gloves
Hostia,
will
con el-
revive one of your
con-
minions
con lo de no
whenever an
perder
offering
vida.
expires.
Hostia.
Get a sacrificial chamber to
Con
level
lo del
3,
lich,
and
de
you
no
will
perder
need to
vida.
face a highborn priest of sacrifice. Defeat him to be able to further corrupt a Val you need, modifying it in unpredictable ways.
A ver.
One of the mods of this unique will be
Ah,
removed
te lo
and
cambia por
replaced with
otro.
another random mod.
Ah, vale, esto es como el este, vale. Ah, no.
For example,
¿Cómo?
this soul mantle.
¿Cómo?
It gives you an additional totem, but lowers your totem's life and curses you when they die. By using the machine, this could result in a terrible item if you remove the good mod, but also some amazing items
Ah,
if you
es
replace the
random.
downside.
Hostia, son fullborn.
Now, one extra thing to mention about these Val crafting machines.
Pero no son fijos.
You don't have to take the items you want to craft into the temple. If you don't have the item you want to craft with you at the time, then clicking this button will allow
No.
you to create a currency item instead,
No.
allowing you to do the craft later
Hostia, esto está
or
mejor
trade
que
it if you
vender
want.
templos. Esto es mejor
Now,
que
there are
vender
all sorts of
templos.
interesting rooms you can find in the temple, but the last one I want to show you today is the Flesh Surgeon. A Val Flesh Surgeon can be leveled up by placing him next to a high-level synth flesh lab.
¿Qué es eso?
But be careful. The Flesh Surgeon has some rather unpleasant
Una
experiments in his
ascendencia.
personal
Una
lab.
ascendencia nueva. O algo de eso.
Afterwards, you might notice the surgery table just sitting there. The Val are great at crafting items. Why not do some crafting on yourself? After laying down, you'll be asked which limb you'd like to replace. Left arm, perhaps your right leg. Each limb can get a different set of random bonuses, so choose wisely. After getting up from the table, try out your new limb. It seems to work fine,
No
and
te
even perform better than your normal one. Now, there is just one thing with replacing body parts. If you die and are resurrected, your body will return to its natural state.
No.
You
Si
might
te
need to
mueres,
return to the Val Surgeons if you want
pierdes
another
el
robot
efecto.
arm, and maybe get a better one
puta
next time.
mierda. No me gusta esto. No me gusta.
Some rooms, like the Commander, can give you a new
No me
type of
gustado.
reward.
No me gusta.
Medallions that can be used to manipulate the temple in other ways. Using a Queeperlatal's medallion will allow you to artificially boost a room, even if it doesn't meet the normal requirements to level up. And a Huatalotli's medallion will stop rooms from destabilizing when you complete a temple, allowing you to guarantee getting a reward a second time. Great if you want to stock up on double corrupts.
Esto está bien.
Now, with all that aside, time to face the Architect, and you will be in for a fight. Once defeated, you will find another console that can be used to modify the temple. But this one is special. It allows you to
tiene
place
más
new
cosas de
types
los
of
que
rooms
parece,
with specific rewards. There are rooms with specific uniques, special runes, and currency.
Hostia.
But also a few
Exalted,
other,
lo he visto,
more niche crafting experiments. Like this one, that can extract the soccer balls back out of an item, at the cost of destroying it.
¿Cómo?
Now, something
Ah, te
really
devuelve
important
la
is
runa.
every league we release a significant amount of content for the in-game. In order to make sure that the Fate of the Veil works well for late-game players, we've added many mechanics to make sure that you can scale the difficulty and rewards to match.
Vale, le han hecho también que sea
Getting some
mejor en
rooms to
entry.
level 3 adds extra mods to the entire dungeon, and these stack with each other. So
Vale.
in endgame, when you can get some really big temples, you can generate a challenge that can even
Eso es
match
lo que-
the strongest of
Eso
characters.
es lo que a mí me interesa.
We also start to introduce ways to store up energy for the temple, allowing you to save up many runs so you can do them later at your leisure, and not interrupt your mapping too often. Now in each league, it's important that we have a new pinnacle boss to test your character's might. In the Fate of the Veil, you will get to face Adziri, while she was at the peak of her power.
Hostia,
One of
vas a
the
frenar a
rewards you will
Tatsiri
gain
cuando
by
su
defeating
poder
the
era el más
Architect
tocho.
is the ability to place the Royal Access Chamber. Once connected to your temple, you can visit it to finally reach the Queen of the Veil herself. This fight takes place at a critical moment in history, right
No, no
as
sé, no la
Adziri
espada.
communes with the beast's power and takes her true corrupted form. Now, we are not going to show you the whole fight, but we will tempt you with one of the rewards.
Quieren enseñarnos una
This is
recompensa.
Adziri's rule. This staff gives additional levels to all of your corrupted gems and lets you trade life for extra damage.
Mirror of
But
Reflection.
in addition to that, while using the staff, mirrors of refraction will constantly appear on the battlefield. Any projectile you fire at these will split into a nova, and they can chain from one to the other.
So, that's the Fate of the Veil League. But we are also bringing the previous league, Rise of the Abyssal, into the core game,
Vale, esto ya lo
along with a few
sabíamos.
changes.
Meten avis
Now,
al
for those
core.
of you who haven't seen what happens when a league is over, it's important to understand that you will not be seeing abysses in every area anymore.
No va a estar avis en todos los
Rise
mapas.
of the Abyssal is
lógicamente.
now one of the league mechanics that can show up randomly in endgame.
Lo van a meter en tablillas, 100%.
If you want to specialize in running abysses, there is now a tablet that will allow you to add them to any map you run. You can also craft the tablet to add abyss-specific mods to enhance how they function.
Vale.
Now that Abyss is core, it also needs its own Atlas tree. You can gain
Esos
your
que no han
first
tocado
points
el
by
Atlas.
completing an Abyss,
Y luego.
but there
Con
are
los
more
bosses, ¿no?
available for doing depths and killing certain bosses. And there are a bunch of different options. You
Ulemak,
might
vale.
just want more monsters and bosses. But
Vale.
you can also make finishing an Abyss have a chance to overrun a nearby map with the Abyssal. Or make your Waystone
Ah.
modifiers also apply to Abyssal depths.
Oye, eso es
You
bueno.
could specialize in the
Hay un
interaction
montón
with
de
other
rares
leagues,
abajo.
or specialize in a specific Abyssal faction. One of the important elements that we have heard loud and clear is that needing to do Abyss crafting on Waystones is quite annoying. So, we have removed that. In fact, we have removed instilling from Waystones as well.
¿Qué?
This mechanic felt mandatory on maps because it boosted the value of all other content. But it was both annoying to do and resulted in a lot
Claro.
of visual
Han
clutter.
quitado Delirium Fog. Facilito.
Instead, we are bringing back some of that power on tablets. which you don't need to craft nearly as often, since they last for 10 maps each. Once you defeat the Arbiter of Ash, you will be able to upgrade tablets to a rare with 4 mods using regular currency.
Vale, está
Even
bien.
this isn't enough to fully bring back the power you could have gotten from instilling, so we have also buffed the bonuses that tablets give. Going forward, we're not going to be adding any more crafting directly to waystones outside of the basic currency, because it adds too much micromanagement. But on that note, Fate of the Veil does bring the ability to corrupt your tablets, hoping to get one of many different random outcomes. Now, with regard to Delirium Fog, even though you shouldn't have to have it on every map anymore, we still did want to make it less visually annoying. Delirium Fog has been toned down significantly, so you won't feel like you're just playing in a sea of grey. Another big source of problems in the endgame is the feeling of getting overwhelmed with monsters. In 031, we reduced the number of monsters in early endgame in order to help with this, but still scaled up the number of monsters to previous levels by the time you got to tier 15. Well, after letting this simmer for a while, we are still getting this kind of feedback.
Eso es bueno.
So we are no longer going to scale up the number of monsters you go as you get deeper into the endgame. Instead, we are scaling up the difficulty and rewards by the same amount. So to be clear, instead of increasing the number of monsters by 40%, they will instead drop 40% more items, grant 40% more experience, and have 40% more life, in addition to all the normal scaling they get due to being higher level. This only applies to regular monsters, not bosses. We have also reduced the speed modifiers that monsters can get sometimes, which also helps a lot with this. Now, we did have a large amount of content for endgame planned for 040,
no les cambia la
but
vida.
unfortunately we just didn't get time to finish it. The scope was a bit too large, and so we would need to wait until 050 for that. But rest assured,
sí les cambia, vale, sí.
there will be a ton of upgrades for the existing leagues, as well as new pinnacle bosses, and a significant overhaul to the Atlas passive tree coming soon. Now, another problem that becomes a much bigger issue in the endgame is game performance.
No,
and we have done a lot of work here. The primary issue is CPU load.
Mira.
And to address that, a lot of things have been optimized. And we have done a lot of work to take advantage of more of your CPU cores. You should see frame rates of at least 25% higher.
Enseña un avis.
And a lot less bad frame spikes during gameplay. It does make quite a big difference, especially on consoles. A lot more work in this area is ongoing, and you will continue to see performance improvements over the next few months.
Está bien.
Of course, another important area is game balance, and we have made a lot of changes. Now,
muchos cambios en el balance.
Most of these we will save for the patch notes, but I'll do a quick summary of some of the numbers.
A ver.
As well as adding 11 new unique items, we have rebalanced dozens of others that are not currently used very often.
Vale, va a
We've
rebalancear
also done a
muchos que no
pass of
se
the lineage
usan.
supports.
Muchos únicos que no se
21 of them
usan.
have been rebalanced, as
Han
well as
balanceado
adding
las
9
de
more.
mierda y han añadido 9 más.
Alongside the
Vale.
2 new Druid ascendancies, we have made balance changes to almost all the others,
Hostia,
with some
han
of them
hecho
getting a grander
cambios
rebalance, such as the
a
Smith
todas
of
las
Catava.
ascendencias.
Alongside the 20 plus new Druid skills, we've also rebalanced 90 other active skills.
Vale, han metido
across all the
20
different
habilidades
classes.
del druida y han
And
reworkado
to top it
19.
all off, there are also over 250 new passive skills added to the passive tree.
250 más
These
puntos
changes should go
en
a
el
long
árbol.
way to increase the viability of many more skills, uniques, and overall build variety that can
90.
tackle our
Vale.
most challenging
90,
content.
no 19. Vale, hostia puta.
Next up, we're going to be talking about our new supporter packs. Today, we're launching 2 new series of supporter packs.
Las skins.
The Precursor and Kalgurin packs. Each tier contains the pack's full face value in points, alongside several exclusive microtransactions. As always, the microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic and do not affect your character's power or progression in any way.
No hay anuales, no.
The Precursor series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions.
El bicho
First up,
ese.
the Marble Statue Character Effect. Once you
cojones?
finally stay still for a moment, a podium rises up out of the ground to immortalize you. turning your skin to marble.
Así me
When
vais
you
a ver
next
en el
move, the
hideout.
stone crumbles
Así me
around
vais
you.
a ver en el hideout.
The precursors had mastery over gravity manipulation. So too can you, now with the Gravity Well portal. Witness the power of its pull as you approach it.
La estatua está guapísima.
Draw in enemies with your own gravitational pull with the Awakened Precursor armor set. The precursors designed and built many mysterious ancient beings. This one used to serve as a scout that would patrol and tase intruders. Why salvage gear yourself when the master of the forge can do it for you? Molten gold spills out as the forge master breaks down your items.
Ah, vale, es el que rompe los ítems. Vale.
The
Bueno,
relic of the Precursor's map device is a mysterious machine that sits atop ancient colossal statues. It keeps track of the number of charges consumed on your Precursor tablets used in the device.
bueno.
The Kalguran Pack series also contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. The Kalgurans had astounding skill in astronomy, being able to track cosmic events with absolute precision. Harnessing that skill, with the Astronomer's Level Up effect equipped, you too can now see exactly how long it took you to level up as it outputs the time in chat. The time taken to reach your last 3 levels
Es
is
un
also displayed on the
contador.
item, so you can link it when you have a time you're proud of. Crush unique enemies by unleashing the wrath of the lost Kalguran fleet, led formerly by Captain Heartland himself. A Kalguran seafarer needs armor fit for the treacherous
Hostia,
seas of
esta armadura
Recordad.
está muy guapa.
This set has you covered
Esta armadura
with the
está muy
classic
guapa con la
tricorn
patapalo.
and of course a peg leg.
Hostia, está muy guapa la patapalo
The
esta,
lost treasure weapon skins top off your appearance of a true raider of the seas. These gilded weapons can be applied to wands, two-hand maces, and shields.
¡Hola, el escudo!
After a long day of plundering loot, the
¡Hola, el
retreat to the
hideout! También está
Kraken's
muy
Cove hideout,
guapo.
a home of some of the most deadly ocean-dwelling creatures in Recordad. Many
Hostia,
ships
está
have
guapo.
met their demise here.
Lisiado Pack.
What better to accompany you in Kraken's Cove
Es que, tío,
than a kraken itself? Replace your stash with a dormant kraken, waiting for its prey. As you approach, it will awaken and terrify both you and any guests in your hideout.
Va a asustar a la
Alongside
gente que
this,
venga.
an extra stash skin item will be granted to you, and when placed, will automatically open to any stash tab set with the currency affinity, to help having to navigate through your tabs. Additionally, any microtransactions from
puedes
these supporter
seleccionarle
packs
que abra.
will be made available for use
Puedes
in
seleccionarle
Path
que
of
abra
Exile
un
1.
estás concreto. Entonces tú puedes pulsar aquí, te
Thank
abre
you
no sé
very
qué, puedes
much for
pulsar otro,
all
te abre
your
otro.
ongoing
Hola,
support.
qué guapo.
We're just about to start the Q&A with Ziggy D. Afterwards, at 11 AM NZ time, we'll post the patch notes. With release at the end
Gracias.
of next week, our community team will be posting crucial information you'll need for the release.